All right, we are here at the Early Ford V8 Museum in Auburn, Indiana. This is Josh Conrad. He's the Executive Director, and he's going to give me an exclusive tour of the museum, which means it's an exclusive tour for you here on Worldwide TV. First of all, Josh, so this is different than the Ford Museum in Detroit, and I know there's 4 museums. What do you mean by Early Ford V8?
Right, so our museum has a very specific collecting scope where we start with the introduction of the early Ford V8 flathead engine in 1932. And we stop in 1953 when Ford goes to the overhead valve engines. But everything in between 1932 and 1953, we actively collect.
So pre-World War II, and then a little bit after World War.
Yeah, all the way to 1953 when you got the Korean conflict at that point in time.
And we'll look at cars, but briefly, what makes that period so special with these cars?
Right, so the flathead V8 engine was an affordable big engine. Before 1932 and Ford's V8 engine, you had to get a pretty big, expensive luxury car to get a V8 engine. So it put a low cost...
Like a Cadillac?
Yeah, like a Cadillac
Chrysler,
or a Packard, and a big, expensive luxury car. This put the powerful 65 horsepower engine into the low-cost car market.
For the everyday person.
Everyday person, yeah.
Wow, excellent. Well, let's go see cars. So we're in this main, I don't know what you call it, showroom?
Yeah,
main area.
The Frank Corey Gallery has a majority of our automobile collection in it, and it goes chronologically. We start with a deluxe Roadster with a V8, a deluxe
So that thing has a
Phaeton.
V8 in it?
Yeah, you can see it. It's right there. They made Model B Roadsters, but there would be no V8 right here on the crossbar, which we have a B right over here with the commercial vehicle. But V8 Roadster, V8 Phaeton, they're both restored to Concours standards. They're very, very high point cars, as you can see.
Right. Well, that's the first thing you see. So are these donated?
These two cars right here are both on loan.
Okay.
All of the 90% of the vehicles in our museum are donated to the museum. And a lot of the ones that are on loan may never leave. They're here because we can take care of them now.
Right.
So that's what it is. But 90% of the vehicles are donated to the museum.
Okay. So we start, you said chronologically, so we're in the early 30s.
Yep. These are all 32s.
Okay.
All the way, the first 6 vehicles you come across, and then we have a couple of 33s.
Is that real wood?
Yeah, that's a real Woody.
Yeah.
1932 Deluxe Model B Woody wagon. It is an exceptionally restored vehicle.
Sorry, I just touched a car. I'm so used to at our auction facility because I just open cars all the time.
Yeah.
I know how to handle them. Most people don't, but I realized, shoot, we're at a museum.
Yeah. So you have an immaculately restored 32 Woody wagon right next to a not really ever touched, except for someone embellished it with the body lines and wheels, painting them the color they wanted.
Interesting.
This car is what would you call a rouge vehicle, where it's never undergone a restoration.
Well, I kind of like that sometimes. Like there's some cars that are meant to be restored and should be, and there's some cars that you want to keep as is.
They're only original once.
Yes.
And then you go 33 through 35 here.
So over those years, you see a little bit of the body style change, but what else changed as we sort of grew up in years?
Yes, so the engine changes, the body styles that are available, the deluxe Phaeton, for instance, in 1934, and the 32 Phaeton, you can see they become smaller, more aerodynamic, a lot less frills on, sticking out from them, and so style goes a long way from 32 to 35.
Now this looks like a car I would take my family in to the grocery store.
Yeah, you had to be pretty wealthy to have a Phaeton in 1932.
Okay, I guess I had the Great Depression.
Yeah.
We're going into the Floyd Motor. What's this?
Yeah, Floyd Motors is a complete 1936 dealership showroom floor where we have one of every body style of American production 36 Ford. There's also the 1.5-ton truck with a dump bed.
So this is would be a modern day pickup truck, or is this more commercial?
Yeah, this is a commercial truck.
Okay.
This is a 1.5-ton truck. It would go over with the other commercial vehicles over there, but
got it.
I wanted this here because it's it was the holdover in 1936. The commercial truck still had the grill shell from 1935.
Right.
And there's, it's a unique piece.
So this is what a showroom would look like back in the 30s?
No, but these are the cars that would have graced the showroom floor. You would have to have a pretty large Ford dealership to have a showroom floor that would hold one of every body style.
Right.
So this is an oversized showroom so that we can show people one of each. And we can also show you the difference between standard and deluxe cars. Standard cars have body painted grills, deluxe cars have stainless steel.
Oh. Is that just for identifying it, or is there a specific reason?
Yeah, well, it's a trim level.
Sure.
So you could order a standard car or a deluxe car. Deluxe cars have chrome windshield frames, chrome grills, where the standard cars are painted body color. You're gonna have the banjo steering wheel in a deluxe car, and just the regular big old.
It's like getting upgrading the leather seats.
Yeah,
and
an upgrade.
Else.
You're upgrading to a deluxe.
They did that back then. They still do it today.
Yes. They'll upcharge you for anything. We have a convertible sedan that's virtually original. That's the only original top that we have on a vehicle in the museum.
Wow.
Everyone else.
How did it survive almost
Exactly.
100 years?
Yes, it's a good question. That's why it's the only one.
So we have a club. How do I say that?
Cabriolet.
Why is it called that?
Because this is a cabriolet with a back seat.
Ah.
The cabriolet that most Americans know is right here.
Yep.
The Club Cabriolet was a mid-production edition in 1936, and so there aren't a lot of them that were produced. I think 4,616.
Wow.
It's a pretty rare one, and it's one of the last vehicles acquired by Joe Floyd when putting the collection together, because they're hard to find.
Sure.
This is the first car that he purchased. And then you have the German Glasser-bodied Cabriolet with the American front clip. It's the only one known to survive. The stainless steel.
Let's talk about this. This looks like it's on a turntable, so the style of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear all about it.
Yeah. So 1936 Allegheny Ludlam steel two-door sedan.
Like Allegheny, like in Pittsburgh?
Yes, the steel company. They partnered with Ford Motor Company, supplied the stainless, and at the end of the civilian production run, they stamped out enough body panels to put together 6 cars. And they were a salesman incentive fleet for 10 years. So a lot of miles are on each one of these cars. This one
is immaculate.
Is been restored, obviously. Not too original, because there was a lot of dings and swirl marks and all types of, they actually took the body off the car, so when they re-welded it, it was tiger striped. The only way to get rid of all of that was to polish it out to a mirror finish. And it's a pretty spectacular car to take out. It's very hard to keep clean.
Yeah,
it's a mirror sitting there.
Fingerprints. So I think at Woodward we sold 3 Allegheny steel cars that weren't restored. I remember the dings.
You sold the set. So the 36, the Thunderbird, and the Lincoln Continental, right there on the other side of the parking lot. Wow. I have pictures of the 36 running right out here because I came over and turned the lights on, so I could have both of them in the same picture.
Yeah, the restored immaculate one next to
us. Yeah. Well, it was not necessarily right next to it, but it was right through the window on the other side of the parking lot. Right.
So this is modern day. There's companies. I don't know. I'm thinking of Mary Kay, right? The makeup company, but they sell $1 million to give you a Camaro. I think.
Yeah, a pink one.
Yeah, pink Camaro. So back in the day, I guess if you sold enough steel, you would get one of these.
Right. Well, and it was a fleet. So they retired the fleet in 1946. And as the story goes on this car, it was given to the dentist in Chicago who popularized the use of stainless steel dental instruments. Don't know. And then his son eventually brought the car to an event and sold it to Leo Gephardt, who took it to Lon Kruger in Arizona to restore it.
Wow.
And so it's a pretty, it's a well-documented car, which a lot of them weren't. I mean, there's still one of these cars missing. It's out there somewhere.
It's somewhere. Could be in a barn.
Could be painted. You don't
could be
know.
Scrapped too.
Yeah. Well, they know that one of them was scrapped because it was wrecked.
Mm-hmm. But at least we know this one's here.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's preserved.
Yeah. You get into the commercial collection here. These cars are extremely rare. The Briggs Body two-purpose sedan is a one of two surviving. The panel delivery, the sedan delivery are both pretty rare. We have the perfectly restored deluxe sedan delivery, and then I have a very, very original 36 standard sedan delivery as well.
Where's that at?
It's in the storage building.
Okay.
I can't show it to you right now.
Not ready, but will be
Yeah.
at some point. Very cool. This is the pickup truck.
Wood, yes. Here's
Classic pickup truck.
beautiful pickup truck. This is what Washington blue looks like on a new modern restoration.
Wow.
Here's what it looks like originally in 1936. This car was actually repainted in 1939, but this is the 1939 paint job.
Wow.
New top. The top was toast. Yeah, it's all checked up over here. You can tell it's an old restoration.
Right. But relatively not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being 100 years old.
Yeah.
Or 80 years old.
And then we recreated the Eddie Steep Ford front showroom window here with the 36 Roadster.
I like
it. That's my favorite car in the museum's entire collection.
Why is that?
It's look at it. Drive it. It's got some period speed equipment on it. Updated exhaust. Every aftermarket accessory available in 36 is on the car.
How often do you get to drive the cars?
This one about maybe twice a year.
Okay. I mean, it's part of the business, right? Of just making sure these cars
if we leave them alone, it costs a lot more money than to keep them running.
Right. So you're just doing your job by driving
Exactly.
these cars.
That's right. It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it.
Official pace car.
Yeah. So this is a replica of the 1935 pace car driven by Amelia Earhart in the 1935 Indianapolis 500. It's not the car, but it's, the guy who restored it wanted to give it a story, and he does. This is an amazing story. With Amelia Earhart is the official referee of the 35 Indianapolis 500.
Wow, that's really cool.
The original car was more of the red color of the truck beside it with orange wheels.
Okay.
We found that out after the fact. And then you go 1940 to 1946, 1949.
So we skipped the war years, what, from 41 to 45, right?
Yeah.
No
So here you go. You go 1941 Mercury to 1946 Ford Deluxe coupe sedan.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even 41s are fairly hard to find. At least.
Yeah, you can even get 42s.
Really?
They're just rare. And then the shoe boxes that go down through here are phenomenal. 1951 Mercury Woody wagon. This is the first year for the faux wood panels. You have real wood framing everything out, but this is the first year for the fiberglass faux panels.
This looks like I should be in California.
Yeah,
with a surfboard
on top. Ready to hit the beach.
That's right. So, early Ford V8, I mean, obviously Indiana and Auburn has a rich history of the automobile and classic cars. Why here for this museum?
We picked Auburn because it's the perfect automotive Mayberry.
Mm-hmm.
I said that last year as well. But
I like it.
You already have
Brandon Anderson said the same thing.
Yeah, he stole that from me.
He did say that.
Did you really? Yeah, perfect. We invited the board of the Early Ford V8 Club to come here during the festival week in 2006,
mm-hmm.
and they all just unanimously agreed this is an amazing car culture town. There's always something going on, and it never stops. The visitors that come here, the Auburn Duesenberg Automobile Museum, the National Automotive Truck Museum, you know, it was already a draw. So we just added to it.
Right.
And you know, we've been fully embraced. So you know, it's not like we're all in competition together.
Sure.
We want to bring as many people.
I think when people visit every museum, they visit all three or try to hit all of them because it just makes sense.
Yeah, and we get a lot of visitors from the other, you know, 6 automobile museums that are within an hour and a half of us. You know, we all collaborate together and, you know, give each other's marketing materials out. And it works out. We're right smack dab in the middle of a bunch of major metropolitan areas.
Right.
Columbus, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Chicago, Detroit.
Right off the highway.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss the building.
Yep.
Even if you don't know what it is, you're driving by wondering what it is. So what is this room right here?
So this was our original building in 2009.
Okay.
Wow.
We've grown a lot.
This was all it was. Yeah. Now it houses the speed shop, the speed equipment, you know, race cars, the commercial collection, you know, a lot of engines and transmissions. We got cutaways. It's also where we do all of our inspections for the newly.
This is a school bus. Oh my gosh.
It's a custom 1940 school bus from Tonasket, Washington. A 9-seater. They had to have real little kids to fit 9 of them in there. But yeah, that's a one-off piece. An amazing, came from us. One of our members in New Hampshire donated that.
That's super cool. So we have this building. You just built a building across the parking lot. What is that area?
So we built a programs building for our youth mechanics program, our youth driving program. We're going to have some flathead specific programming where you can come in, disassemble and reassemble a flathead engine. And we're going, you know, there's an event center component and a large storage building component to it as well. So it allows us a lot more room to breathe. You saw as we walked through here, this building's full.
Yes, it's very full. I mean, there's every area. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, so we went from 23 vehicles with the original building to 93 in about 18 months.
Wow.
This 1938 coupe here was just donated yesterday by one of our members in Pennsylvania.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's fresh off the truck. It's still kind of dusty. And then we have a shop with some of the tools and diagnostic equipment of the era, and a 37 stock car, because everybody loves a race car.
A good stock car. That's right.
So we've got quite a ways to go in here with tools and equipment and stuff. There's not much interpretation to it other than just keep throwing stuff in here.
So in terms of maintenance and keeping things, like, what do you guys do on site to just make sure these cars stay?
We have 3 shops now over in the new building.
Wow.
And there's a process and a notebook on every car, because some cars are more temperamental than others. And then, you know, once we develop a problem, we fix it. It's pretty simple.
I love you said
drive it till you break it, and then you fix it.
Awesome. Let's talk this, not this weekend, but in the coming weeks. We have the Auburn Duesenberg Festival. We have the auction across the way. We have all kinds of
Destination Auburn.
Destination Auburn. Yeah. And Early Ford V-8 has always been a big part of that since I think you guys have been around. But what are you guys doing that week, event-wise?
Sure. So during the festival week and during the auction, we host our own swap meet. It's available to our members. It's one of the best perks of being a member of the Early Ford V-8 Museum. And you know, it just brings a lot of like-minded hobbyists together, and that's what we're all about. So that, you know, our swap meet has grown since we first did it in 2021. We do it twice a year. We try to do it in conjunction with Worldwide Auctioneers so that there's more people that come.
Couple years, yeah.
So that's
and this is, I mean, a huge swap. This is, we have our swap meet and our things. This whole area around Kruse Plaza, the museum, there's just so many people, car enthusiasts, families, there's food everywhere. So it's a place to visit. And the museum's also open, right?
Yeah, museum's open during every day, daily, 9 to 5.
Yeah. And I mentioned members, so people can become a member.
Yeah.
What's that look
A
like?
member to the museum costs $25 a year.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's a no-brainer.
We should have hundreds of thousands of members.
So that supports the museum,
Yep.
but also gives access and perks.
Sure. Yeah, and you get you get a free swap meet spot at both of our swap meets for $25 a year.
That's
The best
that
deal
alone.
you're ever going to come across
Yeah.
for a swap meet.
wow. That's pretty incredible.
We
Well,
use it as a friend raiser,
Sure,
not so much
yes,
as a
yes.
fundraiser.
Crowdfunding, right? These crowd supported.
Exactly. This
you know-
entire museum was crowdfunded by members worldwide.
This is for the people, right? And I love how the club started this, and now it's member supported. This is a grassroots effort, and really cool. Come visit the early Ford V8 Museum. You take the shuttle from the other museums in downtown. You visit the auction. You visit all the events going there. This is in the middle of everything. Come visit the early Ford V8 Museum over Labor Day weekend and that whole week for Worldwide TV. Thanks, Josh. We'll see you in Auburn.
Labor Day weekend.